being very clear. If you don't want to hug or shake hands, we just honor that, whatever your choice is. Coffee and snack bar are open, and they will stay open as long as in the future you sign up to take your turn hosting it. There's a little sign-up sheet right there by the food to entice you. Our prayer team is active. There's a prayer box over there behind the sofa. If you're online, send me an email, and we'll get you prayed for. Our prayer team prays with you for 30 days and forwards it on to Silent Unity. And then if you want updates of what's happening, social media is where it's at. And if you're new to Unity, if you're here in person, there's a contact card you can fill out and leave on your table or put in the prayer box. And if you're online, please drop me an email. So let's, our little morning coffee, our prayer for health and wholeness. I am healing. Other people are healing too. So yeah, let's affirm together. Here I am, spirit, celebrating life. The individual cells of my body are free to unite together to support me in health and wholeness. Ownership of dis-ease is a defamation of our character. I release any thoughts of dis-ease, and I affirm my strength and resiliency. Stronger together, every organ of my body strives to work in harmony as one living system, reverberating and regenerating as part of the universal life force. Wholeness and vitality are made manifest within me, through me, and as me, and so it is. Amen. Our mission statement is to spiritually awaken to our oneness with God, with each other, and with all creation. And this comes out of our vision of seeing a world powerfully transformed through a growing movement of a shared spiritual awakening. So we like to affirm some of the major religions of the world. And if you'll join with me, the enlightenment of the Buddha shines within us. The compassion of the Christ moves through us. The power of Jehovah strengthens and guards us. The presence of Allah surrounds and guides us. Wherever we are, the Tao is, and all is God.
Wow.
And we like to pray for our neighbors, and all of us have different people in our hearts. Our dear friend Sharon made her transition Thursday night, and we're celebrating her life next Saturday. The family asked me to invite all of you. And so whoever is on your hearts this morning, the music that Armand and Angelina were just singing, I am one, and we are one with all of our neighbors. Just like to invite us to just take a moment in silence. Our friends in Detroit, they had to break the water main. There's like 1 million people that have to boil their water now for a while down there. There's a fire going on in Hawaii, and the Leilani. So whatever might be on your hearts, let's just take that moment in that oneness that they were singing about just a few moments ago, to sing that beautiful consciousness together, sending our love, sending our peace. Most of all, seeing the divine in each and every situation, no matter how it appears to us, knowing that there is a strength within, a resolution within, an outcoming to a greater good. And so it is. Amen. And a little blessing for us so our cups stay full. The Unity Spiritual Center, which is you and I. Let's affirm together. With a heart full of gratitude for the many blessings which continue to pour down upon us, Unity Spiritual Center responds to the loving urgings of Spirit in our thoughts, words, and actions. We are enlivened to be of service. We are engaged with what really matters. We are teachable and growable as we thrive in fulfilling our sacred calling. Reaching in, we reach out to be truly a force for good in our world. And so it is. Allah, Shalom, Amen, Namaste. So a little question today is, what is your guilty pleasure? We all have them. We all have them. So you just want to take a moment for that. Our platform person is coming up. Kathy and I are being poster children for disabled people. We both have our walkers and stuff as we're going through our healing. We just try to be inclusive. We got a few.
She's shaking. She's shaking. Praise God.
You're healed. We're healed. Okay. And she's going to lead us into you. So I'm going to keep people waiting with bated breath as they talk about their guilty pleasures, and Kathy's going to bring them up to date on a few things happening here.
Good morning, everyone. I hate to interrupt the guilty pleasure conversation, but we have wonderful things that are coming. So good morning, my name is Kathy Asif, and I'm your platform assistant for today. Our daily word is holy, inspired by the verse in Genesis. Then Jacob woke from his sleep and said, "Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." There are certain places we visit where the presence of God feels especially near, places that feel holy. These may include churches, other places of worship, shrines, favorite places in nature, any destination where we become vividly aware of the divine presence is holy ground. We remember these words from the Prayer for Protection from Unity poet James Dillett Freeman: "Wherever I am, God is." The divine presence we know lives within us. It is the true essence of our lives and every life. Today, our understanding expands. We discover the divine presence of all around us and find holiness everywhere. Every person is a holy being. Every place is holy ground. Let us affirm together: I discover holiness everywhere and in everyone. August is Glad's month, gladiolas. So how appropriate that we are focusing on our core value of joyfulness. Joyfulness is our true nature, an artesian well at the core of our being. We can live this core value by taking time to laugh and play in childlike wonder, connect with others in friendship, and choosing to be optimistic. We sing together, laugh together, and sometimes we even dance together. Let us affirm our core value together with playful expression. We celebrate life and abundance. Sundays at 9:30 a.m., Unity offers Sunday Adult Learning Time, or what we call SALT. Next Sunday, Danielle is going to give us an overview of a course called Mastering the Brain Game and preview of her fall course. Next Sunday, August 21st, from noon to 2 p.m., in response to a SALT session last month, David Meter will delve more deeply into the native practices of this area as he continues sharing about the Council of the Three Fires. This experiential workshop will take place outdoors by the gazebo. Love offerings are accepted. On Sunday, August 28th, Unity is having an opportunity fair and potluck. This will be an opportunity for all our ministry teams to share what they do and a chance for you to see where you can connect. And we need your help with the potluck. It will be a true potluck. The food balance will be divine in divine order, and more divine order on the way with your commitment to help with setup and cleanup. You can sign up at the snack table by the kitchen doors. Thanks in advance for co-creating a great day. On our tables are flyers for our October Quantum Healing Day. We'd love for your help in getting the word out to potential vendors. And a reminder, if you purchase tickets for Friday night's Lugnuts game, be sure to see Lisa Hastings, she's back there, following service to pick up your tickets. See you at the ballpark. As Sharon earlier said, I have two very special guests today. But before we bring them up, I want to remind you of two events that they will be offering while they're here with us. Are you ready to play the Native American flute? For centuries, people have been mesmerized by the hypnotic sounds from these gentle, easy-to-play flutes. Whether you have a musical background or have always wanted to play a musical instrument, this play shop is for you. Join Armand and Angelina for a fun, magical time of music at 12:15 today. Suggested love offering is $20. There will be flutes available for your use, or you may purchase one from them. And tomorrow night at 7 p.m., Armand and Angelina are offering an evening filled with music, message, and mirth, the Great Unpause Concert. Armand and Angelina, international performers and recording artists, have been living their dream together since 2001. They offer a fantastic, uplifting show full of humor, passion for life, and love for one another. Their music is a unique blend of rock and opera, incorporating Native American flute. Armand and Angelina will be performing their versions of Alleluia, Age of Aquarius, songs from the fandom of the opera, plus their own original love ballads and humorous songs. It's been coined a variety show because their performance is filled with music, comedy, dance, and more. Come see them and learn a new twist on giving and receiving. They love giving stuff away. Armand and Angelina deliver a show like no other. Tickets are $20. I attended last time and I got one of your presents, so I was pleased. Gifted with one of the most angelic and heart-opening voices of our time, Angelina is often compared to Sarah Brightman. Armand's brilliant talks and compositions, powerful vocals, and engaging presence inspires us to love life passionately. Without further ado, let's welcome back Armand and Angelina for the once-in-a-lifetime experience of love, laughter, and music.
Thank you.
I got to say, that was one of the nicest introductions I've ever written. Well, first off, it's great to be back. Wow. And let's talk about the elephant in the room. This property. Wow. Y'all been busy. The last time we were here was 2019 BC. That's before COVID. And now it's, what's that? And before fire, yeah. And now it's past all of that, and we are better than ever. And we've been hearing for years that Unity is not a church, it's a center. And if this energy right here and the way it's set up doesn't exemplify the idea that this is not a church, this is the center for practical Christianity. We can embrace it. And I love all the different varieties of honoring that y'all have of different religions and different paths, many paths, one great spirit. So that is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's been a crazy 3 years. We hope to be back in 2024 or maybe even 2025, I'm not sure. But anyway, thank you for having us. We're going to give you a joy song to sing to start things off. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Okay. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Like the Macarena, we got hand movements. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. If every journey begins with a single step, I'm taking my first step now. If we are to be the change that we want to see, I'm changing myself now. Always a good place to start, the one in the mirror. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Instead of waiting waiting for there to be peace on earth. Make peace within you now. Alright, we're gonna get a little funky. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Yeah. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Yo, 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 don't wait for peace to come. Be the change you want to see. Gandhi said that, yo. Thank you. So now we're going to move into our meditation right after that. So we're going to lead you into the meditation with a chant. Very simple. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. And in the daily word today, talking about holy, going within is where you tap into that place where you are connected to all that is holy. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. That's it. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Once more. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. And we invite you to breathe into that peace. You may close your outer eyes, quiet the mind, and just contemplate peace. As we breathe in, we connect more deeply with the breath of God, our holy essence. As we breathe out, we share that holiness with the world at large, making space to breathe in more awareness, and knowing that we are one with Spirit. Allow the music now to take you on your very own sacred journey into the peace of God, into your own holiness. Very gently now, begin to bring your attention to your surroundings, your chair, this sacred sanctuary of holiness and peace, where we come to remember the truth of who we are and share that truth with those around us. For here we are reminded that all is well. All is well. All is well. God is balanced. All is well. There's perfection everywhere. All is well. And so it is. Amen. I love the way y'all incorporated the prayer for protection into the message this morning with the Tao and all those awesome things in there. I feel most at home when diversity is practiced. So today's message is, I now pronounce you not guilty. Now, I don't know about you, but when I first went into churches when I was a young man, Angelina and I were both born Catholic. I guess we weren't really born Catholic, but we were born into Catholic. Actually, we're still 3/4 Catholic. And I remember in my early church days hearing that I was born in original sin. Not a great way to connect with your divinity when you hear that. In your spiritual center, that's supposed to help you remember that you were close to God. Dr. Phil would say, how's that working for you? Born in original sin. And then I get into Unity in 1984, and they say, you were born as an original blessing. And that felt a lot more in alignment with my heart. You were born as an original blessing. You are worthy just the way you are.
Takes a lot of pressure off, doesn't it?
It sure does. It sure does. You know, you won't hear much in Unity churches about your limitations because we don't talk about your limitations. However, I'm going to tell you a limitation that you have that you cannot change. It is impossible, no matter how hard you try, to ever be unworthy. It is impossible, no matter how hard you try, to ever be unlovable. Who's tried? You can't do it. You can't do it because your nature is worthy lovability. You cannot change that about yourself. You can act in ways, you can act unlovable, okay? But you can't be unlovable. That is such an important concept to know as we enter into the new frontier of loving ourselves in a more deep way. We were taught when we were kids, if you love yourself, you're conceited. If you think highly of yourself, you're conceited. I don't think the great masters were conceited, but I think they thought very highly of themselves. When you really think highly of yourselves, you think highly of everyone else too, because you know you're one. Okay? Conceited is not, I am awesome. Conceited is, I am awesome and you're not. You see the difference? If you say, I am awesome, and you're not, you're compensating for the fact that you really don't feel awesome, or you would never need to say that to anybody. You would see their divinity. All the great masters, Jesus included, saw his divinity and also saw ours. Greater miracles than I perform, so will ye. You and I are one. Okay, love thy neighbor as thyself. Right on. We forget that little part. We're like, I'm going to become a person that loves God and loves my neighbor as thyself. That is the new frontier to me. We are stepping into that in a whole profound way. Who in this room was challenged to learn to use their principal tools in a more mighty way? BF and BC, before COVID, before the fire. You had to learn new ways when all this stuff happened that test you. You know, Wayne Dyer says this: when you get squeezed, you find out what's in there. And if there's unlovability in there when you get squeezed, it'll be very uncomfortable. Okay? But we have risen above it. Okay? Like a phoenix risen from the fire. Okay? We have risen beyond. That's why we call our concert the Great Unpause. I believe that pause is over, and we're more in that endemic than the pandemic. And so we are all becoming the best versions of ourselves, and unfortunately, sometimes that happens best when there are challenges. Okay? So relationships are a wonderful opportunity to love ourselves more and to love others and help them love themselves more. And it's not always easy because we get our buttons pushed. But we are worthy. Now, Angelina, when we get our buttons pushed, she figured out a great way, because what happens is, if somebody pushes your button, your first reaction is to push back, right? Now, how many people read The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer? Fantastic book. And Michael Singer says, when you feel yourself going into a place of wanting to attack, or you hear voices in your head that tell you something's wrong with you or other people, lean back and observe that part of yourself. Even physically, not only spiritually, but even physically, lean back and notice that neurotic.
Right. I love this because actually if you do physically lean back, it kind of stops you with the thoughts and all, because for me, it's like my body's focusing on leaning back and what does that feel like and whatever, and so it can kind of stop what's going on in your head. And I think it's a great example to lean back and observe, but physically doing it too helps me kind of stop that mind that says I did something wrong, I'm not perfect.
Yep. So what's your tool?
With my water?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, sometimes the best thing is not to say anything if you're having a heated discussion with someone. So what I do is I take a sip of water, and I keep the water in my mouth. Because you cannot talk if the water's in your mouth. And so he'll say something that triggers me. I'll take a sip of water and keep it in my mouth, and he'll say something else. I have to take another sip of water. And if he still doesn't stop, I will hand the water to him so he can take a sip and keep it.
Vodka?
But yeah, it's a really good tool. And we're in a car, in a van, a lot traveling. It's really good when you're in a van and you can't get out of the room or leave. And you know what? It's good for you because it hydrates you. So it's a bonus right there.
So we study a guy named Greg Bear who has something called the real love work. And we really love the real love work. And one of the things the real love work says is, when we were children, 99% of us did not get the unconditional love that our hearts craved. Okay? Maybe every now and then somebody got it right, but most of us did not. What most of us were told is, you are awesome as long as you don't inconvenience your parents, as long as you don't upset your parents, as long as you do the things that we need you to do, then you're awesome. So what we learned was, I am lovable if. Okay? Now see, unity teaches the opposite. It just says, I'm lovable. No ifs, ands, or buts. okay? But we get this message, and Greg says that in relationships, we can reinforce that message, we're only lovable if, or we can reinforce the unity message, we are lovable, period. And it's challenging because, like she says, you get triggered and you want to go into stuff. You want to react. And so he talks about not telling people, especially children, and guess what? You're all children of God. So treat everybody like they're a child to a certain extent. You know how I know you're an adult, you're a child of God? Because it doesn't say you're an adult of God anywhere. Has anybody ever read that? I'm an adult of God. No, you're a child of God. There's an inner child within all of us that needs that reminder that we are lovable just the way we are. Okay?
Because if you give the wrong message to young children, then they believe that, and then they can create behaviors that aren't so loving and kind. And so if they, at a young age, get the message that I'm lovable no matter what, then hopefully they don't get into those behaviors of attack, victim, lying, you know, all these other behaviors that aren't...
that are imitation love, that are really a reaction. You know the old saying, hurt people. Okay, people that feel loved up don't need to hurt people because they're already full. And so he talks about not taking your anger and your resentment and your disappointment and putting it on other people, okay? And that's what's great about the water, because if she starts to feel angry, resentful, or disappointed in something I said or in me, she will drink that really quickly, and while it's in her mouth, she may think, wait a second, I need to say something to him about this, but I don't need to say something at him, and vice versa. You don't need to say stuff at people. So when children of all ages feel your resentment towards them or your disappointment with them or your anger at them, all the little inner child really hears is, I'm not lovable. That's it. And that's the exact opposite message you want the people you love to hear. So Greg gives an example that when you feel triggered, don't take that out on someone, because what's happened is you've become empty and you're now sharing emptiness with other people, which is going to make them thirst even more. You need to get filled up. So he gives a great example. So I'll do it with you. I'll pretend like you're my kid. Hi, kid. And I know you just got a car, and we're going to help you learn how to drive it, but we're going to start in the driveway. Just backing out of the driveway, backing back in. Really great. So the first day, my kid backs out of the garage, but forgets to raise the garage door. And I hear it, and I see it, and in that moment, I am not feeling very filled up. So I need to be very careful with the kid right now. So I might say something like, you're awesome. I love you, and my love for you has not changed because of what just happened. Later we can talk about what we're going to do about this. I'm a little empty now. I need to go get myself filled up, but I love you. Then I go to my friend and I say, Reverend Sharon, I want to kill my kid. So what I'm doing is I'm being authentic, and she will meet me there. I understand. I might feel the same way. Let's talk about what's real. Breathe, real. Let's do a little prayer. Let's do a little meditation. It's metal and plastic. It can be replaced. You know that, right? I do know that. You love your kid, right? Of course I do. Breathe. You will get through this together. We'll get through this together. And then I get filled up by hanging out with her. I go back. Still love you. Still got a broken garage door. We're going to take your allowance for the next 10 years. Because I want you to understand consequences. But I also want you to understand that what you do and what you say has no effect on how much I love you. You got that? Okay. Now let's go take the car someplace safe. Okay. Now, so what's happened is, and they've proven over time, especially with kids, that kids actually feel safer with discipline and consequences than they do if you let them run crazy. They actually feel safer, but it's got to be done from a place of love, not from a place of, I'm punishing you because you are a bad person. I'm disciplining you, I'm making consequences, I'm setting boundaries, actually because I do love you. But if you're not filled up when you do it, it will come across as anger, resentment, disappointment, and what will they hear? I am unlovable. So years ago, we were watching Oprah. Do y'all remember when Oprah used to come on? We had this thing, it's a kind of a prehistoric thing called a VCR. And we would tape her, and we would usually watch her like at 9 o'clock at night. And that was kind of like spiritual soul food for us right there, and watch it. And one day, she had a couple of men on the show, and both of the men had been in jail for like 10 years. You may have seen this episode. They had been put in jail for taking the life of some of their family members. Now, they got out. There's a program called the Innocence Project that tries to find proof and appeals to get innocent people out of jail, because our system, as wonderful as it is in many ways, it's not flawless. And innocent people go to jail, and guilty people don't go to jail. That's just the nature of a system that has flaws. So this project, the Innocence Project, is helping to get innocent people out. And both the men got out through DNA testing and all kinds of other science that proved they were innocent. And it was a joyous, joyous day for them and everyone. But here's what threw everybody for a loop, including Gail and Oprah and us. Both men had confessed to the crime. And people were like, no, wait a second. This is weird. Why in God's name would you confess? And they asked them, they said, well, there's a lot of reasons. Number one, we lost family members, so we were traumatized. And number two, we were taken into custody and told that we were guilty. And number three, we were interrogated and interrogated and interrogated. You know you did it. If you would just admit it, we could move on. We could lower your sentence. Interrogated. And I started weeping. And she goes, why are you weeping? Aren't you happy for these men? And I said, I am. And yet I think all of us can relate to some form of interrogation of somebody telling us that there was something wrong with us.
It could also be ourselves.
I think your mic might have just went out.
Anyway, I'm a real critical person of myself, and so sometimes, even though others, you might get the message from someone else, but I tend to be super critical of myself and beat myself up. So it can also be. But I'm not going to beat myself up for that, because I'm doing better with that. Darn it. So anyway, that is the self thing is also a part of that.
And I'm not going to beat myself up for forgetting to check her battery this morning, because that's one of her big things is, Armand, please make sure that I have...
I think I better take a sip of water. We'll talk later.
After you get filled up? We'll talk after you get filled up. So the men had confessed, and I started thinking about that. We've all been told that there was something wrong with us. We're the wrong sex, we're the wrong orientation, we're the wrong height, we're the wrong weight, we're the wrong religion, we're the wrong whatever, we're the wrong color, whatever, something over and over again, and there's a part of us that will want to just go ahead and admit it. You're right. Now, why would we say that? Why would we confess to that crime? Because it shuts them up. And sometimes we just want the voices to stop. The voices in our head are extremely dangerous too, and we've got to get them to stop too, okay? So these men had just wanted the voices to stop, because once you tell somebody you're right, they don't hound you anymore, okay? But the truth is, it's the worst confession we can make is that we're not lovable, or that we're not worthy, or that something is wrong with us. Confessing to that crime is the worst confession we can possibly ever do, okay? And so I wrote a song after watching that Oprah show.
Is there something you want to read first?
Okay, yes, I do want to read. Thank you. One of the things that bugs me about, thank you for keeping me in track. Squirrel. One of the things that bothers me is when people use the pulpit to self-promote. I'd like to read something from my book. Because since we were here, I wrote a book. And it's called I Now Pronounce You Not Guilty. But just one little page from here. Let's see where it is. So here we are, a part of the tapestry of the universe, playing our parts perfectly and divinely. We have more than enough evidence to convince any jury of our innocence. There are very few limits to our capability. However, we cannot be unlovable. It's also impossible to get it wrong, okay? It's impossible for us to be anything less than the divine, eternal, worthy, innocent beings that we have always been. It's ultimately impossible for us ever to be truly convicted of not being enough. In that case, an acquittal of our original case is inevitable. So we are going to sing now the song that came from that Oprah show called Innocence, and then we will go into the next part of our program. Or the church program, the center program, the campus. Heard about this young kid who served his prison time for a crime he did not do. He gave a false confession, and when they asked him why, he said, "I did not know the truth." He was innocent. I thought about my own life, how I was like that kid when they told me I was bad. I offered my confession to what they said I did, and lost a childhood I once had. I am innocent. I did nothing wrong. I've been serving time for this crime for far too long. I am not to blame for what I didn't do. There is nothing I need to prove. I am innocent. You are innocent. This is the time for justice. Oh yeah, this time we're gonna get it right. 'Cause we're finally hearing the whole truth. You know what I did? I fired all my juries and got the pardon I deserved. And now I'm freeing other inmates too. You are innocent. You did nothing wrong. You've been serving time for this crime for far too long. You are not to blame for what you didn't do. There is nothing you need to prove. We are innocent. We did nothing wrong. We've been serving time for this crime for way too long. We are not to blame for what we didn't do. There is nothing we need to prove. I am innocent.
You are so lovable.
You are innocent.
Who you are is so important.
We are innocent.
You deserve so much love.
There is nothing we need to prove. I am innocent.
You are worthy.
You are innocent.
You are perfect in every way.
We are innocent. I now pronounce us not guilty. And so it is. And I think maybe next is the offering, yes. Where two or more are gathered, take up a collection.
Thank you, Armand and Angelina. I was so excited that I didn't know it was my turn. This is a time during our Sunday service when we engage in the sacred practice of generosity. Our Unity community is in constant appreciation to each of you for the support coming to the Unity through many channels: online, mail, and love offerings shared in person. Our circle of generosity includes an act of gratitude for these many gifts by sharing our gifts with others. A portion of our tithes this quarter will be sent to Carefree Medical in support of them providing care for those who would otherwise go without. Let us take a moment to deeply immerse ourselves in gratitude in the silence. The circle of generosity is a sacred exchange of giving and receiving. With joy and enthusiasm, we each become part of that sacred exchange, sharing of our blessings to complete the circle. If you are sharing in person, you can leave your love offering envelope in the glass jar on the table when you are complete with blessing it. The ushers will collect them following the service. On that same glass jar and on the broadcast screen is the QR code you can use to donate through PayPal using your cell phone. Whether we are sharing online, in person, or through the mail, allow the power of generosity to flow through you as you make this sacred act of giving. We set our consciousness in abundance by blessing our gifts with this affirmation: divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and am glad. And Armand and Angelina want everyone to know that they have music to offer over there, their CDs and suggested exchange bases. Please take what you desire, give from your heart, and feel free to tithe in the future if you don't have it now. So Armand and Angelina will complete our service with their special arrangement of the prayer of protection.
Let's do another. I like that. Let's sing again. This is a song called "Everything Will Be Okay in the End." And if it's not okay, it's not the end. I like that. Here we go. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Shake it, Lisa. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. We're gonna sha-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Every happy song has to have some sha-la-las. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. All right, here comes the tricky part. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. Even when it all just seems to go your way, no matter how many times you saw The Secret, it's still gonna change. That's okay, because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Just the audience. Perfect. It's not the end. It's not the end. We're forever sharing no hands. good singing. I could see them singing out there in the virtual world too, in the ethers. Okay, let's sing our version of prayer of protection. Imagine now that James Dillett Freeman got together with the Reverend James Brown to sing the prayer of protection. I don't know if y'all get up and dance or whatever, but let's do it now. 1, 2, 3, 4. The light of God surrounds us. Woo! The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. I got to get that fourth verse. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God is within us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Woo! Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Good golly. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Can I get an amen? Happy trails, everyone. Happy trails.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds if we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails.